Right now, the most powerful AI on the planet, it's controlled by just a handful of companies. But what if that's about to completely flip on its head? Today, we're going to dig into a future where the AI market isn't run by a select few, but by, well, everyone. It's the question at the heart of everything we do online, isn't it? Who really pulls the strings when it comes to AI? Is it a few tech giants, the brilliant developers building the models? Or, and this is the big idea, could the answer be all of us? Let's find out. So to understand where we're going, we first have to get a really clear picture of where we are right now. And honestly, most of the powerful AI we interact with lives inside what you could call a walled garden, controlled by just a few massive corporations. Okay, so check this out. On the left, that's today's world. Centralized control, which usually means high fixed prices and access that's locked behind complicated contracts. But on the right, that's a whole different vision. It's a decentralized network where control is spread out all over the globe. Costs are pushed way down by real competition, and anyone can tap into it. No permission slip required. This isn't just a tiny adjustment, it's a complete rethink of the entire system. So, how do we get from that walled garden to this wide open future? Well, it all boils down to one huge idea: decentralization. And this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. The sources we're looking at suggest this whole transition could pick up some serious steam as early as 2026. All right, the first key term to wrap our heads around is decentralized AI inference. Now, inference is really just the fancy word for when an AI actually does its job, like answering your question or creating an image. The decentralized part is the game changer. It means the work isn't happening on some giant server farm owned by one company, but across a massive network of independent computers all over the world. But wait, how do you pay for all this work happening everywhere? That's where the tokenized compute economy comes into play. Think of it as the financial engine that makes this whole thing run. Instead of using credit cards and getting a bill at the end of the month, it uses digital tokens to create this global, real-time market for computer power. It makes it possible to send instant, tiny payments to anyone, anywhere. Now I know, tokenized economy might sound a little complex, but the source material uses this absolutely brilliant analogy that makes it all just click into place. So forget thinking about it like a traditional tech service. Instead, think of it like the gig economy, but for computers. Yep, exactly. It's that simple. Just like Uber connects drivers with riders or Airbnb connects hosts with guests, this system connects people who need AI processing power with computers around the world that happen to have some to spare. It's a global, automated, on-demand marketplace for pure computation. So how does this actually play out step by step? Well, first you send a task out to the network. Almost instantly, computers from all over the world start bidding to do the work, competing on price and speed. A winner is chosen, and it runs the AI model for you. Then, and this part is absolutely crucial, the network uses cryptographic proofs to verify that the work was done correctly, to make sure you got the right answer. And finally, a smart contract, which is just a bit of self-executing code, automatically pays the computer's owner in tokens. No invoices, no 30-day waits, just boom, instant settlement. So who is actually involved in this new economy? You've got four main groups. There are the compute providers, and hey, that could be you with your gaming PC. Then you have the AI model owners, the developers who get paid a little something every time their model gets used. Of course, you have the end users, like you or an app on your phone. And then there's this last one, which is kind of mind-blowing: autonomous agents. These are literally AI programs that can act as their own economic players, buying compute power and selling services all on their own. So we've covered the how, but now let's get to the most important part: the why. What does this all actually mean for us in the real world? Let's break down the actual impact. The sources we looked at describe this incredible chain reaction. It all starts when hardware gets distributed across the globe. This creates a ton of competition, which forces the big cloud companies to lower their prices just to keep up. And here's the key result: running AI becomes radically cheaper. That opens the floodgates for even the smallest apps, or heck, even your smart toaster, to integrate really powerful AI. And that could ultimately lead to this whole new agent economy, where AIs are trading services directly with other AIs. Wild stuff. Let's look at who wins here. For you, it could mean cheaper, more private AI tools, and maybe even a way to make a little money from your computer when you're not using it. For businesses, it totally levels the playing field. Suddenly, startups can compete with the big guys on AI without needing a massive budget for cloud services. And for developers, it creates a direct pipeline to get paid for their creations, earning tiny micropayments every single time their model helps someone out. Of course, it's not all going to be a walk in the park. No major technological shift comes without challenges. So it's really important to have a balanced view and talk about the potential roadblocks on the way to this decentralized future. And listen, these are not small hurdles. For one, the technical setup is still pretty complicated for the average user. There's also a real risk of getting bad results from a faulty computer on the network, even with those verification systems. And governments, they are way behind on even figuring out how to regulate these global anonymous systems. And finally, the environmental impact of all this computing power is a really serious concern that absolutely needs to be addressed. So let's bring all this back home, back to you. We've seen the incredible potential for a world with cheaper, more accessible, and more open AI. But we've also seen the very real risks. The big question is, how will a new market like this change the devices you use every single day? Could your phone become a tiny part of a global supercomputer? Could your PC start paying for its own upgrades? The possibilities are pretty fascinating to think about. Thanks for tuning in.